First and foremost, ladies and gents, the jacket. She's back again. Again, $10 Ross Dress for Less. Somebody tried to tell me that I should not be telling people that. They're like, you don't need to tell people where you got it from and how cheap it is. You can just say thank you. And I was like, well, then it opens up a whole discussion of why I like Ross Dress for Less versus like, why are we all trying to like, why can't I just tell you where I got it from? Like, why do you have to correct me? So anyway, that happened, but I'm wearing it again because I like it and I just feel, but also because I just walked in the door. I literally just came back from the airport. I have been gone away from my home for 8 days and I'm home and I'm so happy to be home. Okay, being home is the best. And I was just in Bozeman, Montana, locked in a room for 3 days because it was a snowstorm and our plane was broken. So I sat there for 3 days and I'm home in Charleston and I'm so happy to be home. So happy. Gonna do some fun adventures this week in Charleston and very excited. So anyway, I just really quickly though, I had to come and sit down and record because I had a few ideas of what I wanted to talk about in a future video, but I just came home and looked at myself in the mirror after the last couple of days I had, which I will tell you. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, you are locked in. Like you are locked in. Like you are a new version of you. So I've had some really, really amazing revelations the last couple of days. But I want to talk about the importance of locking in and how extreme you can get with it. So I'm learning a lot of new things, but I'm learning to hone in and to control all of my like impulsive, wild energy that wants to do all of these things. I'm learning to hone it in and use it in a productive way. Low key, so uncomfortable, but really helpful. And so I now find myself on the extreme side of spirituality because I'm like vice free, which I want to make videos about because I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking, I'm not vaping, and I'm not taking shrooms anymore because I was taking too many. I'm just like raw dogging life. And it's at times a bit tedious, especially because again, so much has changed in my life. And so I was like, what do I do with all this like extra energy? So I started reading so many books and I'm obsessed with the gym and I literally like need the gym. Eating healthy, like I've just poured myself into all of those outlets and also being really spiritually strange and bizarre, but not really. And so I just want to give you guys some of my like extreme hacks, if you want to call it that, to spiritually evolving kind of quickly, because I became really obsessed with like spiritually evolving because I think I've always loved the divine aspects of life. I've always loved all of the weird spiritual things that we can't see with just our like regular five senses. I'm like, there's more. I've always felt it. And I've always felt the most alive when I was connected to those things. And so like to that side. And obviously in my life, I've dabbled in so many different things. And I think that's a part of our journey as human beings. And I was given the freedom to find myself growing up. And so as I grew, I could make mistakes and try new things and learn from different people and different cultures. And I moved around a lot and I've traveled a lot and I've spoken to people from all different kinds of backgrounds and I've lived different places. So I feel like I've gotten to gain like genuine real life, different perspectives on life and on spirituality. And I've gotten to play with my own mistakes and also like implement different things that I've heard from different people or places that I've seen. And it's been like really seen in real life, not just like regurgitated information that you're getting online, but like I've genuinely gotten to go and experience it. And anybody who's had that experience knows it's so enriching because living new places, meeting new people, going new places, having new experiences, talking to people different than you, it really expands your mind. And I feel like I've gotten so many different opportunities to kind of like learn and find what works for me. And I want to talk to you about some of the weird things that I've done to make stuff happen. and encourage you to try it as well. So I guess I'll do them in points, and we're just going off the dome. The first thing that I want to talk about that has like changed my freaking life, and if you're Christian or you're just a very healthy person, you already kind of know about this, but fasting. I mean, you don't even have to be Christian, but it's a big part of, I think, Christianity and just biblical hygiene, if you want to call it that. But it's such a powerful thing. And so when I first was starting having a relationship with God, I became such a faster because it gave me so much control over my body in a healthy way. Because as somebody who's grown up, and a lot of women have and a lot of men have, but like I struggled with my weight and with what I ate, and I feel like I'm finally in a place in my life where I take really good care of myself, and it's taken me a lot of time to find genuine balance in how I eat and how I move my body and work out and how I feel about myself and talk about myself. It's taken me a lot of freaking time, but I feel like I'm in a genuinely really, really good, healthy spot with my body and with my mindset. And it's taken me a couple of years to cultivate it, beyond just like that deep inner work of like being insecure. But now past the insecurity, it's taken me a lot of time to really like find what works on a consistent basis. And fasting is one of those things that I feel like reminds you, it's another disciplinary act of letting your spirit reign over your flesh, and basically denying your flesh, denying your body the things that it thinks that it needs, when in reality it doesn't actually need that. It's allowing your mind and allowing your spirit to have dominion over your body. Because at the end of the day, and it's so helpful for if you're breaking addictions, or binge eating, or if you're feeling far from God, if you're feeling far from the Lord, if you feel like out of control of your body, or you're being very impulsive and you're not reining in those impulses and being aware of them, that's a great place to start. But also, it's just so amazing because nothing's distracting you, so everything feels like your body's not making food, your body's not digesting food, and you're not focused on what you're going to eat, or I need to cook, or this, and everything feels so much more alive around you. And I've done 3-day fasts, maybe like, I think I might have done at this point, I want to say 5 or 6 3-day fasts in the last year. And I really ramped it up starting in March. And so I would say I've done a 3-day fast pretty much every month. I've done a lot of 1-day fasts. I'm finishing, you're not supposed to tell people, but I'm finishing one today, which is why I even bring this up. And then some 2-day ones, never longer than, I don't think longer than that. I think I've had 3 days that have like extended longer, because you just realize you're like, oh my God, I don't need food. And I have so much energy. So having all of that undistracted energy is so helpful. And I just also want to share, this is a side note, part of me bringing up like the locking in thing is because I realized I have really like derooted my life of distractions. I've done it, God's done it. There's been a lot of like, none of this, get really real on what you want. And I kind of fought it for a while, and I was like, because when your body is first in like calm after being in so much chaos for such a long time, I moved to a new state. I have a whole new home. I have a new job. I have new friends. I have a new life. I'm away from my family. I'm away from old friendships. I'm away from old relationships. I'm just away from all of it. There's nothing here but what I decide to create. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't like this feeling, like I need to do something about it. And because it felt like I needed to basically like create some kind of chaos to feel safe in. And oh man, I had something so good to say, and I swear it just freaking swung me. I was really on a roll too. I'm gonna wait because it will come back. But it was something particular I wanted to say about dedication. Oh, this is what happens. See, this is why I gotta write stuff down. But fasting, oh my gosh, I was talking about fasting. Dang it, what was it? Locking in, distraction free. Trying to get really, what was I gonna say? I don't know. I was just gonna talk about like cutting out all distract, but I had something very specific I wanted to say. It will come to me if it was meant to. But anyway, just being very specific about being what was I gonna say? Again, I just came home after 8 days of working, but I was like, gonna record, because I have so much to say. Whatever, I was just talking about cutting out all the distractions. And so obviously I've done that with vices. Obviously fasting is an amazing form of cutting out distractions in your day-to-day life, because you're literally only supposed to be focused on God. The best like fasts, I do a lot of different fasts, but fasting and reading your Bible, fasting and reading the word, fasting and just praying, fasting and affirmations. So we're shifting a lot here, okay? There's a lot, and I feel like it's more of a mental shift, because I'm like, I have a lot of like the basic things that I need, and now I need to like build upon that, and also do some like inner shifts and inner work and stuff like that. And I think fasting is so amazing. Following up I'm like really thrown off by the fact that I forgot what I was going to say before. See, this is why, you know what? You just got to roll with it. But what if this was a TED Talk? See, this is why it takes me so long to record videos, because one thing happens and I'm not editing it. Like, you're getting this. So one thing happens and then I'm like, gotta start the table. I'm not doing it though. We're not doing it. We're gonna keep going. Next thing I wanted to say, the weird things that I did in the last 3 days. Clearly they're working. The last three, okay, so I was, like I said, snowed in Bozeman, Montana. I got to go outside one day and I think I was there 4 days. I need the outdoors. So I was like, I'm going freaking crazy. But I realized subconsciously, I was like, I've kind of been running from myself for a while. I say I've been sitting with myself, but I kind of feel like there's deeper inner work that I could do, because in my free time, I'm always filling it with something. I was like, this is kind of my first time to really just sit. And I've been trying to reprogram my mind, like do a lot of like affirmations and robotic affirming and just scripting and journaling and doing all this stuff, because it feels good. And last year, when I got myself into that like really like sweet state, and I just focused and I focused and I focused and I reprogrammed my mind, and then I had all of these things follow up after that were reflecting everything that I was thinking. And I realized I've not been in the best like headspace. Not that it's been a bad headspace, but so much has happened, so much has come up, so much inner work has been going on. But I was like, I don't really need to like suffer. I can just decide what it is that I want my life to look like and what it is that I want to think, and then just like drill it into my brain until it feels second nature, and it freaking works. So anyway, I was like, what do I do with all this time? I literally did nothing but affirm for 3 days. I barely read my book. I went to the gym. I woke up and I was listening to affirmations on YouTube, High Frequency Guru, which I always say, 'cause she's ones for everything. Listen to her affirmations, her subliminals. I have a subliminal on right now. I feel like it's my duty to tell you that, because I'm putting the subliminal effect on you. It is manifest your dream life while relaxing, subliminal. And it's High Frequency Guru. She's amazing, okay? So if amazing things happen to you after watching this, that's freaking why. But so anyway, I literally, so this is my second point on the weird things that I do. And I've done this so many times, because when I was unemployed and I had nothing to do and I was so sad and I found out about this stuff, I got obsessed. Like when I first found out about this, I got so obsessed, like what, a year ago. And I just was like, this is so much fun. And I loved listening to affirmations. I loved journaling all the things I wanted. I was like, whoa, this is such like a newfound power. And it really is like your superpower. But I kind of struggled with feeling like I was trying to like overstep God. And I kind of realized now, I'm like, God really wants us. He's always wanted this for me, because I've always been this way. like wants me to create and wants me to do things and wants me to trust myself and also trust him. But like, I also got to have self-trust, and I was struggling with that. So I feel like I really trust myself in on the areas where there's confusion or I need discernment or guidance. God's in everything. Okay, God trusts me, but when I don't know what way to go, I go to God. So I just want to make that clear too, because when you're also deciding what you want and what you want to affirm for, it's good for you to put the focus on things that are neutral and good for you and good for all, because it's really easy for us to like learn about these things and then like want to do like create stuff that doesn't benefit everybody, or create stuff that is coming from a wounded place in us. And you will start to do that work and then realize how wounded you are. So it's actually great work because it's very eye-opening. You reflect yourself back to you. However, I was like, I need to be really like diligent and focused on what it is that I'm putting into my subconscious, because I don't want to be like putting these like affirmations, these loves of money, or putting other people above me, like, or putting objects above me. I was like, I want it to be at the core. So what I did these last few days was I did inner child meditations again. I haven't done them in a long time. So I kind of started with that. I went home, I saw my family, worked, and then when I ended up there, I was like, I kind of felt like I had to release. So I did inner child meditations, and I cried and I cried and I released stuff that I felt like I needed to release, and it was so beautiful. And I needed to do that because that was the foundation of so much that I did in the past with my healing, with addictions and with alcohol and things like that. That was such a good way for me to get back to myself. And you realize that a lot of the things that you're doing that are unconscious are stemming from your inner child that needs your attention or needs help or needs to be loved. So I started there to get like some emotional release happening. That way I wasn't going into this super clouded or, just not tethered to anything and not actually in tune with myself. So I did that. And then did my breath work. I always do my breath work, my breathe with Sandy's. And then literally I script every day. So I've been doing this for months. I write down what I want. Because part of my brain, it feels so organized. And I'm like, okay, like now I know exactly what I want. I don't have to think about it. And a lot of thought has gone into it, honestly. So what I want in love, what I want in my job and my career, financially, how I want to treat the things that I have, like how I want it to make me feel, how I want to treat that thing or person, the types of friends that I want in my life, the types of places I want to go, the way I want to see the relationships in all areas of my life work out, and meaning family and colleagues and all of that, and just strangers and, creative endeavors. And I got really, really clear on it, journaled it. So as I was doing that, that's always like the first thing I do. Then I started listening to the high frequency guru affirmations of like self-concept. So I was listening to only self-concept affirmations because I realized I do need to get like back to the basics of just only self-concept, because I have gone through so much inner work in this last year, and especially since moving, so much has changed in me. And I also realized that there's a lot that I need to now like refoundationalize. It's not a word, but it sounds good when I say it. But things need to like come to equilibrium now within me. And I feel like I've done so much shadow work and inner work that I need to remember like who I am, And so self-concept affirmations all freaking day. So like, you are worthy, I am deserving of this thing, I am deserving of being happy, I'm deserving of miracles, living a good life, I am beautiful, I am growing every single day, like I'm making money, I'm a magnet to money, I'm confident, I'm sure of myself, like affirmations like that. And then just like on a loop all freaking day. So I did that for one day. And I felt good the next day, and then I had another day there. So I was like, okay, what do I do now? So I did the same thing with my breath work, scripting again, read my Bible, read my books a little bit, and then had a good breakfast and did the same freaking thing. Like I literally did the same thing, but then I added in like, I have some like relationship issues with me from life. And I was like, you need to normalize in your head, like being in something healthy again. So I listened to affirmations about like being already in a healthy relationship and how you want to feel in that, because also programming yourself, it's like, it all stems from you. But if you know that your relationship with something is like kind of jagged, or you have like a story about it that's not positive and you want to reframe it, I think it's good to listen to things that counteract those negative thoughts in your head. Because some people will always say like, it starts straight with self-concept. Yes, but also sometimes if you have like a weird like perception about something else, it's going to be kind of hard to see yourself in an honest light. So if you start counteracting the thing in you that's like negative with positive affirmations, it like basically like pushes them out, because it has no point, like no way to survive, because you're replacing them consciously. Like you're consciously deciding your thoughts the whole day, and you don't realize how deeply that programs you, because now you're learning to be conscientious of the thing you're thinking. Now you're starting the bridge of events towards more positive things happening, because you're going to naturally, even if it's just for that day, have a more positive inclination. Even if you don't believe it, it's still like permeating your mind in some way, shape, or form. And when you do it intentionally, like for me, I knew there was things that I kind of had to break off, so I was doing it for that way. And then I felt so good after. Like I felt like I had kind of like really overcame a wound that I had in doing that. And then I cried a little bit. I'm making this very detailed, but so then but this was like a really transformative last couple of days. So yeah, so then I cried, and then after crying, I was like, okay, like that felt good. I needed that. And then after that, then I started listening to, what was it? I Made My Own. That's what it was. So then I was like, wait, so I think this was the third day. So I think that day I just bounced between the self-concept ones and the relationship one. And then the third day I woke up and I felt really, really good. And so then I was like, oh, you know what? I want to start making ones that say what I want, because I was like getting overwhelmed by needing to make a decision on like what I wanted to listen to. And so I was like, I should just make my own with everything that I scripted. So I've done this before with GarageBand to make a subliminal for myself. And it said pretty much all the same things that I said in this. My goals and visions and ideas for what I want have not changed. Maybe like have tweaked a little bit, gotten more specific, or some were like more important at certain times, but the main vibe has not changed. So I did that a while back with GarageBand, and you record yourself and then layer it with music that you can download from YouTube, like frequency music, or if you have a subliminal you like, you can layer it with another one, or artists that you trust. Like there's a few on Spotify that I have that do like frequency music, and you can just do that and then insert your voice recording underneath it and then make it really low, but still like you can hear it a little bit, because you still want people say, like, I honestly, with the science of subliminals, I do believe that if you can hear it a little bit, it's a lot more effective. And because it actually like moves the ear hairs, like the ear sensors in your ear, the sound actually, and I know that we're not perceiving sound to the fullest of our abilities. There's so many frequencies that we can pick up that we don't even realize. But in my mind and for me, I just find it works better if I can hear it a little bit. So you can do that. But I just straight up went on the Parrot app and recorded all my things that I scripted about. And I listened to it all freaking day. I listened to it all day. And I was bored of it, but I was like, I really like my voice. I really like my voice. And then also in the in-between times, I was on Pinterest looking at what I wanted. Okay, and this is a crazy privilege to be able to do this, okay? Let me tell you this, because I was thinking about it and I was like, this is like everything I've ever wanted. I've always wanted a job where I can do these things and also like work and make money, without having to worry about it. And I can build something that I genuinely like to do, and I genuinely love like getting more in tune with my soul, learning about myself, learning about other people, growing, healing, just becoming better. And I feel like I kind of wasn't as focused on that, and I was kind of like taking things for granted. I hit like a dip. But I'm really proud of myself because I really like have everything I've said like about discipline and dedication and like honing in, like I'm not playing around. And so I did that, and then on my way home today I had like 6.5 hours travel time back home. And so I'm so happy to be back. Love this place, love Charleston, love my house. Every time I walk in, I'm like, gosh, like I really love it here. I really, really do. And I didn't for a little while, so I'm really happy that I do. Because I was homesick, but I'm just so grateful to be home. But I had all that time. So genuinely, guess what I did? Nothing but listen to the affirmations. I don't know why I said it like that, but I did nothing but listen to the freaking affirmations. So I listened to those affirmations, I listened to another one, and then I watched one video. I also listened to me and Irfan in the meantime. So I'm telling you all of this because I genuinely didn't go on, I didn't do anything else. Like that's all I did, and I ate. Then I followed it up today with a fast because I felt compelled to fast. And since I'm recording it on video, it doesn't really matter because no one knows until after I post it. But because you're not supposed to say when you're fasting in real time. However, I'm just sharing it because I do feel like it's such a powerful way to like get rid of all of that and just truly like solidify the reprogram. So I'm very dramatic. And then my third thing is going to be to surrender, to pray and give it to God. And there's so much, but like God wants us to work hard and to show up and to be us and be messy and be authentic. He doesn't want us all to like show up and pretend to be perfect and try to be this perfect thing. That's not what we're here to do at all. And at the end of the day, God really wants to see us succeed, but he's going to refine us. And you cannot navigate life. I cannot navigate life if I do not have the guidance and the discernment of the Lord, because if I don't involve him in everything that I do, then I know I will stumble and I will make more mistakes than necessary. We're all humans, we're gonna make mistakes, but I make more mistakes than necessary, and sometimes then I end up going through the same lessons over and over and over again, when in reality, if I would just take the time to bring it to God, I wouldn't have to keep going through that thing. He would open my eyes and show me the way to go, instead of me trying to figure it out by myself and I'm gonna do it anyway, like find out. So it's a beautiful thing to have a God that loves us the way that he does and wants us to create and wants us to take heed over our reality and be disciplined and know what it is that we want. And sometimes we don't, but if you do and you're neglecting that, then I feel like that's not a fun place to be, and it's not what we came here to do. And I can honestly say that because my whole life, all I've ever done is go after creating what it is that I want, and I didn't care what I burnt down, what I lost in the process, which is a pattern that I have been growing out of. However, I will say that was something that allowed me to build what it is that I want to build, and God had his hand on me the whole freaking time and brought me to where I am now, through growing in my consciousness and through growing in my self-awareness and growing in my ability to face stuff that I don't want to face, and in my ability to let things go when I'm told to let go, ultimately in my ability to be obedient. And I know I struggle with that sometimes, but yeah, that's my third thing I would say, is giving it all up and like just being like, okay, God, this is what I want. This is what I'm feeling. I don't know this. I trust you. And it's a battle sometimes because, again, I want things to be the way I want, but I feel like I am at a deep level of detachment. And I think when people talk about detachment, it just means like you trust. Sorry, it's my stomach. But I think it's just you just trust. And sometimes I struggle with that, but that you cannot have any of it without God and without involving him, because when I do that, it's bad news. It's just bad news. We have a God that loves us. We might as well involve him and trust him and build our relationships with him in whatever way see fit to you. But yeah, I don't know. I just really quick wanted to make this. I need to go unpack and stuff, but I just wanted to talk about it because it was kind of like a really woo-woo-y last couple of days, but I feel like so good and I feel so clear, and I just feel like we need to know what we want, and we have to get clear on letting go of distractions. And that doesn't mean that you need to like cut everything off or burn everything down, which is something that I'm genuinely like, I'm learning so much about. And I think it's, oh my gosh, my stomach. And again, I'm very extreme. So like I've always been extreme, but I will tell you that, and it's a good thing. In a lot of ways, it's a good thing, but it also has its opposite side that is not so fun. So I just want to share though that it's really beautiful to have like discipline over yourself. And I know I keep using the word discipline, but my word of the year was dedication. And and I feel like, again, like the brother word to dedication is discipline. And I feel that if we're dedicated to ourselves, whatever that may take, if I'm in, because right now I'm in an in-between, there's so much that's shifting and changing. Something's ending, something's beginning. I'm in a precipice. And as I'm in this precipice, the best thing for me to do is figure out what works for me on a daily basis. Don't expect any results, but just do what I know has a positive outcome. Because anything that I'm doing that I can already perceive to not, if it is not benefiting me, all it's doing is distracting me. So if the food that I'm eating is trash 90% of the time, which it's not anymore, but it used to be. If I'm not eating things that make me feel good and feel like I'm full of love, and I'm not drinking enough water, and I'm not, eating enough meals and nourishing myself and, blessing my food. If I'm not doing that and I'm just like eating to eat, it's a very different experience. And what was my point in saying that? I had a point. Oh yeah, dedication. So being dedicated, see, I've been rambling. But dedication, basically, there's so many things that I am choosing to be dedicated to, and it's that presence in all the different areas of my life and deciding what it is that I want. I'm dedicated to the gym. I'm dedicated to the different goals that I set for myself, because the only thing that's in your way is literally you. We all think it's all these things outside of us, and it's literally just ourselves. There's nobody outside of you is distracting you unless you allow them. No situation in your life is distracting you unless you allow it. If you truly decide what you want, you will make the time for it. Like, you will. If you don't want to make the time, you will find an excuse. But if you're willing to do it, then you'll show up and do it. And it's freaking uncomfortable at first, but when the opportunities present themselves, you have to be grateful and know and say, like, I have the opportunity to choose. I know this, so why am I neglecting that? And acting like I'm I want to find a word that's kind, but like acting like I'm incompetent or I'm incapable and I'm frozen and I'm stuck and I'm overcomplicating. Like, we all go through different levels and layers, but of growth. And this is definitely like a stop at mine. But it's taken me years to build this discipline, because I used to be super undisciplined and like would do whatever, whenever I wanted, like drink whatever I wanted, smoke whatever I wanted, eat whatever I wanted, like bad, like I ate everything, did whatever I wanted to whoever I wanted, did whatever I could to get what I wanted to get. Like, I was so like much the opposite, where I was like, I'm going to get everything I want when I want it, which is not good because it got me in a lot of trouble. And I was not happy because I didn't have any like heed over myself. So having these like spiritual disciplines of fasting, and it doesn't just have to be fasting from like food. You can fast from social media, fast from screens, fast from people, fast from environments, fast from behaviors. Like, fasting is all the substances, big one. Like, there's so much that you could do, but I recommend fasting and like cutting out everything for a day or two. And if you can go longer than that, go longer, because it really does break stuff off of you that you couldn't fathom doing yourself. So it's a spiritually purifying act. It gets you closer with God, and you're also purifying your body, your vessel, and allowing it to just naturally get rid of all of the old dead cells and the toxins. And that's both a spiritual and a physical thing. And then to use, my example is extreme, but my point was like, just using affirmations and using these tools that we have at our disposal and like using them and like thinking, okay, I have maybe, how old am I? 26? I have 26 years of programming in me from my family, from past friendships, past relationships, from experiences in school, from kindergarten, from what people said about me as a kid. Like, there's so much. It goes from childhood, all like from birth to now, to college, to work. There's so much to unravel there. My goodness, there's so much programming that's in us from all these things. So if I want to start to think predominantly good thoughts, it's going to take a little bit of work. So for me to just listen to those affirmations for 3 days and when I did other things, my point is it was always going on. And I sat still a lot of the time. I would do breath work and then listen to it. But if I'm being disciplined in that, that's another area where I am taking heed over my mind and I'm having authority of my mind. Like God says, take it captive. Take your thoughts captive to Christ. Guys, I'm a new Bible scholar. It's a new thing as of a year. So don't quote me, but she tries. But anyway, take your thoughts captive. That's what you're doing. You're taking your thoughts captive and you're deciding what you're going to start to think. And it affects your life so much because then you start to see all the good things that you feel about yourself projected outwards. And then lastly, surrendering to God, giving it up to God, having a relationship with God, and trusting and believing that you don't have to do it all by yourself. And we get to use our power as creators and also like the power vested in us through God, and also have God like just illuminate all of the good things that he wants us to do in this life and lead us in the proper path and show us the way to go and show us the way to live. And those are good things, but always being open and always being curious and always taking the time to know who you are. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share those things because it really has been helping me a lot. And I feel like I have overcome a lot in a short amount of time, but the inner work that's happening is wild. And some people don't like to talk about it while they're doing it. However, I am never going to be one that can portray an image of perfection. So I might as well be real. So anyway, and Sam, sorry, I just keep looking at how beautiful my hair is. Y'all, no heat. I haven't used heat on it in almost 2 months. Come on, she does need a wash, but come on. But anyway, yeah, I'm happy to have made that. Okay, but yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. Just wanted to pop on and say hey. But yeah, love you guys, and I will talk to y'all the next time I have something to say. So that's all.